5 things I'm worried about being over 50 and a woman speaker that men that I coach who are CEOs never worry about. Yes. Hair.
Your hair. Your makeup. Your makeup.
That's right.
Ooh, whether I look fat. That was the only requirement. I said my PR person is sick today. Great day for that. Yeah. And I took her all these pictures, and she goes, well, wear that one. And I go, but it's white. Don't you like any of these black ones? No. I was like, oh, great. Right? I coach a lot of male CEOs, vice presidents all over the world now. I'm very lucky. I'm very, very lucky and privileged to have the life I have right now. It has not been easy to get here, that's for sure, like a lot of you. Here's what I know. If you are here on a Saturday, you want to be here. Yes. You know, for a lot of what I do for a living in corporate, they don't want to be there. So I really love getting asked. I think this is my 8th year. We had that little break during COVID. But it's very exciting to be here because everybody wants to be here and they've given up their Saturdays. And I also know the sacrifice that you and your families are making to be here because you're holding everything down, probably through text today, right? Did you take pictures of the soccer game? I really want to be here, right? Well, so for about 15 years, I've had the privilege of coaching and training, consulting, working with organizations, leaders, their teams. Look, all I do really for a living is go, what do you want? Well, I want this. Okay, great. I want my organization, I have one right now, wants to go from 300 million to 2 billion next year. That's called scaling. I've got one at 3 billion that wants to go to 4 billion. I've got a global company at about 4 billion. So I learned a long time ago that it's really great to get big clients because they have a lot of problems that I can then have a chance to get to work on. When I started out, I was just working with entrepreneurs, and that was putting a lot of butts in seats. And that was pretty difficult for any of you that have that business where you got to get butts in seats. So thank you, Lou. Thank you, Ashley. You got the butts in the seats for me. So that's really good. So I've rewritten this speech 4 times. So forgive me, I did have to write some notes today. I actually changed it as soon as I walked in here. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so what I want to do is talk to you about AI today, but the first thing I want to do is tell you a little bit about my journey, right? So my journey has not been easy. How many of you have had difficult trauma, drama stories in your past?
Oh my gosh.
Oh. If I put a mic on any one of you, you probably have a story that would make a great book. How many of you have been told, oh, you should write a book about that? Yeah. You know, the problem is when you write your story, it tends to be everybody else's story too. That's why I never wrote a book about it, because I was like, well, if I tell my side of the story, then everybody knows what happened, and then I'm telling their story too. And I just couldn't do that. I never had the courage to be able to do that. So I'm going to tell you some things today that are interesting, that are about obstacles, and then I'm going to go into AI. The first thing I want to know, though, is how many of you are actively using AI right now? Okay. How many of you are using ChatGPT? How many of you pay for ChatGPT? Oh, there's such an opportunity you're missing. How many of you have teams that work under you? We have about 8 people on our team now. Since I started using AI a year and a half ago, we not only doubled our revenue, we doubled our bottom line, and we added 3 team members. We coach or train about 2,000 leaders a year now. I coach alone, tailored, customized, 40 CEOs and VPs every single month that have stayed with me for years now. So there's an opportunity that I want to open up for you today so that you can see what you have the power to do cheaper, faster, easier than you ever thought possible And I want to motivate you not to skim the surface when you leave here. Does that make sense? You know how Apple Intelligence just came out this morning. They had a post about it. In your phone, it's going to freak you out. Are you going to make little emojis from it? Or are you going to run your entire business from your phone now? But it's your decision. You can spend all day on social media if you want to. I don't, because it doesn't pay me a dime. I got a certain amount of time, I got a certain amount of energy, and I'm not going to use it on anything that doesn't move me, my team, my clients, my family forward. That's it, right? I can't keep up with 2,000 friends. I can't do it. I'm not capable. Okay, so the journey started in Miami, Florida, and there were not a lot of needs. There was really not. We had our needs, but we didn't really have the wants. I got one present at Christmas. Any of you have that kind of experience growing up? Because sometimes people can look at, successful people who have some means later on and think they were given something. No, that's not actually what happened whatsoever. In fact, when I was in junior high, I had to negotiate with my neighbor, really aging me, I'm 58. I had to negotiate with my neighbors because they had World Book Encyclopedia. For any of you who are better young, it's like the Wikipedia except in pages. And I mean, people went door to door selling World Books. They were so expensive that you would pay payments for a year or 2 years on these, and forget about it. Nobody in the neighborhood had Encyclopedia Britannica. Like, that was like the Cadillac. But I needed to get, my parents both worked, I was a latchkey kid, and I had to get access to something to be able to do my book reports. So I negotiated with a neighbor, could I come over after dinner and before you go to bed and work on the floor and work with your World Books, and I swear I will not say a word, right? So from a very young age, I learned how to negotiate terms. That has paid off very, very well. If you want one skill, when you leave here, learn how to negotiate. I have 20 clients right now who I am teaching how to negotiate, right? They're running companies, they're running divisions, and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to negotiate contract terms now. So if you have any future in big corporations or running your own business, you will be negotiating for resources your entire career and lifetime. So how do you leverage every resource that you have? When I'm coaching people, a lot of times, they don't even know the resources that they have. You want to constantly be looking for the resources that are right there, right around you. Resources and resourcefulness is much better than money. How many companies have gotten millions and millions of dollars in venture capital and failed miserably? It's not money. It's not money at all. You know what I've realized too, because I had this happen last Saturday, and I'm in a part of a women's group that supports each other. When you're in a ditch, don't ask why. You ever done that? You're in a ditch, you're anxious, you're freaking out, and then you sit there and go, why am I in this ditch? What is that? What's going on with me? Why? No, get out of the ditch. Climb out of the ditch. Get past it. Then go to a therapist and go, how can I not get enough of the ditch again? But when you're in a ditch, get out of it. Stop asking yourself why, for God's sake. Just say, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? And climb out of it. And more importantly than anything else, that we don't do enough, I'm telling you, especially the independent women that are sitting in this room, because I know you're independent. We don't ask for help. And worse, we don't offer it the right way. Somebody says they're overwhelmed, well, call me if I can help you. No. When somebody's overwhelmed, you say, I'm going to do this for you today. Let's see if that helps. Right? We can do so much better. Today, get the bully out of your brain. Stop criticizing yourself. And for God's sakes, stop criticizing everyone around you. If we can stop the critic and the bully in our own brains, then we will look at every single person and see their beauty, their intelligence, their tenacity. That's what you do today. That's what you take today. with you. Right? And I'm going to tell you what, I coach a lot of men. Men help men. They don't worry about their hair and their clothes. They worry about their competencies and their connections. We're worried about our clothes. Again, they're worried about their competency and their connections. I can't tell you how many men that I coach say, I really want to promote Joanne. Why won't she be promoted? Joanne, why don't you want to be promoted? I can get you $25,000 more a year. I can help you negotiate, but I'm going to be so responsible, and this is going to be a burden. I'm like, no, but you're going to have the authority to be able to make the decisions now. Right? So we get so overwhelmed with the responsibility and the accountability, and we don't go, you're going to make more money so you can hire a housekeeper now. You can go on really nice vacations now. You can negotiate how much vacation you get in leadership positions. But we don't think about that. We're so used to feeling responsible and accountable that that's the first thing when we're offered something we think. And the second thing we think is we can't do it. But you can. I'm going to tell you, you really can. I have a daughter who's just, she's much smarter than I am. Well, my husband's smart. Actually, my friends are much smarter than I am. So when this AI thing came out, and we were building the company over the last couple of years, she is a technology whiz. She's a graphic whiz too. And I said, every time something would break down, I'd go, Melody, can you please help me? I'd be in a panic. And any of you do that with technology? Are you a bunch of techies? I'm like, well, it's not working. I tried 4 times. It's still not working. We tried to do Microsoft Teams the other day, and that was horrible for a small business. Stick with Zoom. And she goes to me one day, she goes, Mom, stop thinking you're stupid. Stop thinking you can't do this. You're not any more stupid. You are just as intelligent as most of these tech people. Do you know what they have that you don't have? And I knew the P word was coming. Patience. Well, you couldn't be more right about that. Yeah. So she sat me down and she started teaching me. And she showed me these tools. And I learned them. And I started working with them. And you know, all I've done is take 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day. We all have 10 minutes a day. Sometimes it's the bathroom. I don't know. 10 minutes. Men have done it for years. Why do you think they sit in there for 30 minutes till their feet get numb? You can find 10 minutes, right? You can do it on your phone. You're capable of learning. And they do everything in 10-minute chunks of learning anymore. Nobody likes long learning anymore. They all like micro-learning. So anything I'm going to tell you today, anything you're going to ask about, anything I'm showing you, I'm telling you, in a week or less, maybe in 10 minutes alone, you're going to learn how to use these tools. AI is now embedded in everything that you're touching. So you're like, I'm not using AI. Yes, you are. If you have the new iPhones, as soon as you mic up the new iPads, they're all talking to each other. It's in every software. It's Copilot and Microsoft Teams. It's everywhere. It's AI Companion and Zoom. It's being used. You can either learn how to use it and lead knowing how, or you'll be working for people who know how to use it. It's going to create a ton of very high-level jobs for people that know how to have conversations and ask high-quality questions, right? So, here's the thing. It takes a couple of things to be able to be good at AI and to be able to get up and be resilient from failure. Because you're going to have to fail. And you're going to have to fail again and again and again and again until you want to throw up. Until you think you're so stupid, what's my problem? And you need to get up the next day and reset and try again. Because that's the only way to learn this stuff. It's changing every single day. So I wrote an article earlier in the year because I felt like the bionic woman. You know, I bought this electric bike and I felt like I was 16 again. I do not like regular bikes, but I love this electric bike. I have surgery in a couple weeks. But I would be zooming down the Greenway, 25 miles an hour. Oh my gosh! It reminded me of when I was dirt bike riding when I was younger. You know, the wind in your face, you're not pumping, you're not sweating, nothing. I mean, it just felt bionic. And then I went back to my office and I started figuring out, you know, all the different things I had access to now that I didn't. We actually own a technology company called GoMonty, and it's an interactive texting company that texts our leaders 3 times a week, asks them questions, and we've collected data now for, I don't know, 12 years. I'm not a data scientist. We're sitting on all of this data. I couldn't even get university data scientist people. They go, you didn't format the questions right. I'm like, oh my God. I just want to know what my customers want. I want to know what's big on their mind. I mean, I sit there and read every one of them, still to this day, to be able to see what it is. I'm not Siri. I care. I care. I could sell my data right now for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I promised every client I would never do that. I would never sell their data. I don't know a company that has done that or made that commitment. Not one. Right? I promised that I would pay off my house at 40 years old. I would buy cash only so that I could speak the truth. I could speak the truth to power. I could speak the truth to you today. And I wasn't worried about whether or not I was going to make my mortgage payment. So I have a tiny little brick house. It's quite cute. You would not be jealous. You will only be jealous that it's paid off. And my cars are paid off, and they're always paid off. So the first thing you have to do is get some resources of your own. Because if you're beholden to a $1 million house or a $500,000 house or your mortgage, and that's all it is, you can't think.
That's right.
You can't take the risks you need to take, the risks I've taken to get where you want to go. You can't. I worked 3 jobs for a really long time. So data analytics, workflow automation, process automation, it's all ready. You don't have to code anymore. In fact, 80% of everything that's being coded is done by AI. 80% of coding is done by AI right now. That was a black box before. AI is your partner. Like when I used to be able to do the Stairmaster, when I would do the Stairmaster, I would be thinking of a business challenge and I would just pick up my phone and start talking to it. I would go into ChatGPT and I would say, I've got this challenge today. Can you give me 10 different ideas on how to get through it? Right? Okay, I'm a terrible planner. I love that idea. Can you plan it now? I was like, really bad at graphics. Can you create a document now? I mean, it just went, wow, our statistics are very strong that only 6% of people are strong in vision. Guess what we need to build to be able to work with artificial intelligence well? Vision. You need conversational intelligence. What quality questions? The crap in is crap out. If you've ever used it and think it's crap, it's smarter than we are.
That's right.
Why can't you extract it? Because you don't know the follow-up questions. You don't know what to feed into it. This is not rocket science, though. This is not like coding. This is like watching prompt engineering for beginners. And you watch a video and you try, and then you try again, and then you ask follow-up questions. I actually think this is the main reason why women have an opportunity that they've never had before, because guess what? We ask questions. Do you think men ask questions? I coach them. I get women who come and they have a complete agenda for our hour. They've taken notes all month long. They've done their homework. They're humble. They work their butts off. You have a chance. I'm telling you, I coach men who are very, very successful in this world. We have qualities that will take us into this new era, right? Bill Gates, does anybody know why he was so successful? What he had access to? Access. No, yeah. You think it was money? Of course. Oh, Lynda. Oh, that's right. Yes, girlfriend. Lynda. he had access to computers, an unlimited amount of time to practice coding, because a mom's group that his mom was a part of bought computers for Lakeside High School in California that were hooked up to IBM and GE computers. And they were allowed to work for thousands of hours on these computers learning how to code when nobody else had access to them. Think about that. You don't have to have any money. All you have to do is go to YouTube and learn how to use these tools. You can literally learn how to ask questions. I'm terrible at asking questions. What should I be asking you right now? I do that all the time. And I've written 4,000 questions for our Monty interactive things to try to figure out what you guys are thinking and what you're doing, right? Okay, so there's Bill Gates. He was ugly then. He's not a woman. Fair game. So I want you to, the reason you have black boxes is because this, if any of you heard that term before, like the black box technology was a black box, you know that, black box, you know, and leaders would sit in there and go, well, what are we going to do? I guess we need a technology person to tell us about this. Okay, get Joe in. CIO Joe comes in. Well, we had this vision of where we want to go and what we want to do. CIO goes, all right, it's going to take a couple years. A couple years? How much money? I don't know. You're going to have to put aside $1 million. $1 million? 2 years. Okay. If Joe says it's $1 million and it's 2 years, we need to go out there and earn $1 million so we can pay Joe. That's how it worked. This is a black box. Leaders had no idea, unless they were CIO, what was inside of this box. Steve Wozniak? Steve Jobs? It's very normal. You don't have a black box anymore. There's no black boxes anymore. It's all in ourselves. It's all hiding inside of us. The treasure is you. It's inside of you. Like it's right there. It's turned into a platform that you can stand on now. There's nothing secret in this world anymore. It's only within your minds. It's in with your old psychology. Right? So when you say I can't anymore, it's probably not true. I would say in one day, how much have I taught you? You've worked for me, Jenna, for 6 months. Did you ever do anything that you do now 6 months ago when you took the job?
Like before I started working for you, did I do any of what you taught me?
Right.
No.
What are some things you know how to do now that you didn't know how to do?
I have learned how to train ChatGPT bots. I create every single month a leadership guide using ChatGPT for your clients based off of the technology that ChatGPT and the Monty texting that you've created.
Put that data in. Closed enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She does all kinds of things. If she doesn't know how to do it, she just asks she'll call me. I'm like, call out ChatGPT. We're stuck. Call ChatGPT. I have sat there and put ChatGPT in the room so that it's a part of the conversation. And say, what question are we not asking ourselves that we should be asking ourselves right now? A lot of it started with Samantha Steidel. I was getting into it, and she sends me this newsletter, and write this down. It is literally the best newsletter I have ever read. It comes in every day. It's called Superhuman Newsletter. Superhuman Newsletter. And every day, in very simple terms that any of us can understand, it tells you everything that's going on with AI. But more importantly, it gives you 5 productivity tools that have just come out using AI, and they're all free to try. So you can sit there and you can try and you go, oh, that's what's coming next. I was going to do a digital twin today demo, and then my PR person said that might be a little freaky. So I stayed kind of low tech. So here's what I want you to do. You guys have a little piece of paper in front of you? I want you to turn next to next to your partner and I want to go, if you had access to any skill, tool, or knowledge to overcome a business challenge, professional challenge that you have, what would it be and why? So I'll give you a few minutes to talk and write on the back of it what you want it to do. Nice to see you. Hello, anything you want. Do you want to learn a new language? Do you need to learn a new language? Do you need productivity? Do you need to have a personal assistant?
Thank you. Oh, no, I'm not trying to. Well, it's in fun, but it's just. Oh, thank you. I do. You can sit here. I think Yeah, you got a box and you got a note.
Anything. Think big. Think small. Or you want to eradicate that you hate doing. I'll give you another minute, and then you're going to pass it to the outside. You're going to go to the outside of the room.
I did. It was very
Pass it to the end.
college. So. Oh, I'm Stephanie. I'm Anna. Nice to meet you. I started comedian, especially for your mom for girls. She's like, pay $60,000 after dating me. Oh, mine is at NYU, but it was a comedian.
Okay, so pass the page. We're going to do something with it. Pass it to the end aisle. Yeah, just pass it to the end. We'll have Kimberly, she's our head mentor and executive coach. She works with a lot of companies, with a lot of talent acquisition now, onboarding. Kimberly's in charge of all that. Jeannie will not be happy unless I pitch ethics. Anyone can apply for that. Thank you. The cohort will be another cohort will be in spring. That is a global program that I helped create. It's one of the top programs in the world as far as training is concerned for corporate America. You can be in it. It's cheap. It's called Ethic Leadership. I partnered with the Salem Chamber of Vandalism.
One more. Miss. Oh.
We're going to give you some brochures on your way out if you want to apply. You can apply.
Oh, she just
Graduated. They're at our 9th cohort for Haskell, which is a client that I developed it for. They're global. We only allow 20 to 25 per cohort. So they're on their 9th. In Penn Air in Florida, that credit union is on their 2nd. They just launched it. We're on our 2nd cohort right now for this region. So spring, it doesn't matter how old you are or what your position is. You get real access to our basic work with high-level facilitators. Jeannie Newby is in charge of that program. She's also an HR strategist extraordinaire. She just goes in and changes companies in years. It's shocking what Jeannie's able to do. I'm going to show you a quick AI demo. Now, how many of you use Guide?
What is it? Say it again.
Nobody uses Guide. Guidde. Guidde. If you are a small business owner, you want to wow your customers and you want to capture processes quickly, you use Guide. So I'm going to do a demo right now where I'm going to show you how this works. We're going to use ChatGPT. We're going to use one of the books I wrote. We're going to use Guide, and we're going to use Canva. All in a matter of 5 minutes. So I go into ChatGPT. I start writing a prompt. I actually did an actual prompt. because I don't get it right the first time. Like you start typing something out. Like, okay, here's my book, A Leader's Guide to Getting More Fresher Ideas from Your Team, right? It's all about how do you have meetings. It's actually how you do decision making. So how do you utilize the lessons in this book to help me prepare and facilitate a planning session with my team, for my team? What do I want to do? I want to create our 2025 business plan. No, I want to create my vision. I think it's going to be about vision. You want to be specific. I'm going to tell you what, if you stunk at delegating before, you're really going to be bad now. If you were really bad at asking questions before, this ain't going to help. Does that make sense? So I'm delegating to this AI assistant a task that would normally take me hours to do. That's an entire book. I want it to read that book, and then I want to talk to the book. That's how content is going to be in the future, is you just upload the long research study that it has open source and you can do it, a book or whatever, and then you start talking to it. Think of your favorite, how many of you do self-help books? My daughter walked into our library, has a little tiny library downstairs. She looked at it at 10 years old. She goes, if you buy another how-to book on how to parent me, I am fine, Mom. It's fine. So now I need how-to other books. So that fast, it does it. It pauses sometimes. It's busy. It finishes. And I'm like, okay, I got the whole plan. I got everything down. I have captured this, and we're going to give you everything that happens today and way more on a link when you leave here. You're going to be able to text it to our system and be able to do it. So I say, wait, can you provide me the do's and don'ts? Because I know I'm going to make some mistakes in this meeting, and I want to make sure I don't make any mistakes when I'm interacting with people, right? So I ask it, hey, can you pull those do's and don'ts for me? Just give me the do's and don'ts. I want to know what's best for executing them. Bam. Do's. Now, at the end of that, I didn't do it for this demo. I said, can you create a document for me that has all this in so I can just download it? And it doesn't like the word Word document. It tells me that's 150 times. Just say, can you create a document? And it will create a document for you of everything that it just printed out. There it goes. There's the do's and don'ts. Okay. So I'm going to go to Guide. All I have to do for Guide is hit that little button on the front page. Capture. Now, my daughter's better at this. She's much more fancy. You name it. So you hit capture, you name it, you hit go. Remember that GPT that Jenna was telling you about earlier? That's like you don't even have to know how to code. You create your own little GPT. Go to YouTube. It will teach you how to do it. You don't have to go to some fancy class anymore. So we go to my GPT. This is one we created. I used to have to create all the questions and responses, 4,000 of them I had to do, to be able to send the messages out. I had a team member. I loaded all of them, all the information that we had, all the data, and said, can you help me create questions? And now all he has to do is go in there and ask it to create 140 characters. It's not easy to create text questions and responses. You know, because you send out a question and you realize very quickly when you get 300 of them back that was a really bad question. Spent many mornings doing that. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to say stop capturing. Watch what happens. This is in real time. It just created what? A video. Of everything that I did.
This guide provides a clear and engaging process for creating questions that encourage team appreciation using innovative applications. It walks you through the necessary steps to maximize your experience.
There are people that make $125,000 a year doing instructional design. They spend hours and hours.
This guide provides a clear and engaging process.
Necessarily at that level. But you give an instructional design person this training, And they're going to be able to do 100 times faster. Then when they get a digital clone of the trainer, I won't even go there. It's a little scary. But it's remarkable. How many of you own a small business right now? I guarantee you could triple in size and not have to triple the amount of people that you need. Well, unless you're killing bugs or plumbing. But if you're doing a business service, you don't, I'm just telling you, I can tell you in a very short period of time how to set up your business on just your phone, even now that Apple Intelligence is out, right? So that's Canva. All I did was download that little video. I went to my Canva. This is a template that Melody created that I could use over and over. And I promise you, ladies, I dragged and dropped the MP4 file. Went to my desktop. Now the hardest thing I ever have to do is go, where is it on my desktop? What did I name it? I just dropped it. You find it, and you just drop it right in there. That's all you have to do. Okay. So I will stay here because this room is not taken after, and I will answer for an hour any questions that you have. My whole team has dedicated today to help serve you. That's it. We don't get paid to be here. It just gave us something to do when we needed a distraction this month. Right? So thank you very, very much for coming. And we'll just stay around. And we'll actually record any questions that you have and the answers, and we'll post them for you. So we're just here to help you. Women need to stand up. You need to stand up.
Amen.
We don't have a chance anymore to rest on our laurels. Can we do one thing before you leave? Can you do one thing for me? 2 things. Harnessing the power of AI, your resource pack. I literally took the do's and don'ts of AI that I came up with, the article that I wrote, the takeaways from this, every takeaway you could have. A one sheet on everything I talked about, and you can just, it tells you how much money or no money, and you click through on it, and you can have every resource that we created. What you do is you go to 540-605-9539 and click unlock.
Text unlock.
Like, so the keyword is unlock. Please, God, let the technology work. That should work. Okay, so there's one more thing I want you to do. Everybody stand up. One of the reasons I couldn't stand to do keynote speeches, and I'm going to tell you this, I don't do very many of them at all, is because I have no idea whether you're going to use this stuff. We just spent an hour together, and I'm teaching you, and I'm wondering how many of you are committed to trying something in the next 48 hours? Okay, so we're going to do a technique psychologically that will anchor that commitment. Don't feel stupid. Jenna just rode through the aisle in a costume. This is pretty low-tech stuff. Okay, so are you ready? We're going to do this 5 times because I want you to anchor this. We're going to say, I can, I will today. This is empowerment. Ready? I can, I will today. Okay, full throat. I want Mark Warner to hear you down in the main aisle. Okay, ready? I can, I will today. Put your hands in the air. It makes for really good video.